Hi everyone, my name is Courtney. I write under the pen names Lyra Parish, and I'm one half of the USA Today best-selling duo Kennedy Fox. And today is my 45th book release day. I am so thrilled and excited and over the moon. And plus on top of that, yesterday was my 2-year anniversary of putting in my notice to quit my corporate job. And so it kind of all just piled up on itself, and I just wanted to come and chat with you guys about publishing and life. And I don't even have a outline for this video. I just wanted to come and really just talk because the last 2 weeks have been crazy. We were right up to the deadline with this book, which I think this is the closest we have ever been, ever. And we survived it. So I'm here to say that the book released, it's doing well. We are getting some really nice reviews, and I'm super excited about that because this book deals with some very sensitive topics. And a lot of times, like, you know, romance can be fluffy and oh my God, it's so amazing, but also it can deal with some very deep subjects. And I feel like with this book, we really went there with that. In the previous book that we wrote in the series, we did the same. Really, actually, every book in this series deals with kind of tough subjects, and it's sometimes hard to write books like that. It's not as fluffy as like our Circle B Ranch series. It's usually someone needs to be healed in some way from something that happened in their past.
Sorry, could you say that again? My apologies. I couldn't hear what you said.
Really? Shut up, Siri. Before she rudely interrupted me, right now I just feel very grateful. I've spent a lot of time reflecting over the last 2 years, like this last week. My 2-year anniversary of quitting, which is coming up really soon, which is March 1st, that is right around the corner. It is not lost on me how lucky I am to be able to do this. How lucky I am to be able to sit pantsless in my house and edit books, even though I hate editing. Like, I would rather do that 1,000 times in a year, which is a lot. I would rather do it 1,000 times than to have to go sit in a cubicle in that type of environment that I was in. It's not lost on me. Like, there are things in publishing that I don't like. I don't pretend like every part of it is like my favorite part, because that's just not reality. I do struggle with edits. When I say that I am in editing hell, I am not joking. Like, I literally do not like it, but I could never, ever in my right mind ever release a book without going through it myself with a fine-tooth comb. I wouldn't be able to do it. If that means for 15 hours straight, sitting in the recliner or in my office or wherever, and I have to do that for a week, then that's what I have to do. And that's okay. And it's okay to not like all of it. Some people hate social media. I get it. I hate TikTok. I hate TikTok. I have been saying for years how much I hate that app, but I still post on there because it sells books. Whatever's going to help us progress, I will continue to do. I really don't know what the point of any of that was, other than to say that if there is a part that you don't like about this process, it is okay. You may never like it. I am trying to love the parts that I hate. I'm really trying to have a positive mindset when I go at it, even though the dread literally swallows me whole. So you guys know that I was recently officially diagnosed with ADHD back in 2021, as if that year was so long ago. It was literally just a few months. But I know that I suffer from something called rejection sensitivity. And I've talked about this on my live streams, talked about it in my community tabs, I've talked about it on Facebook, and it literally stops me from starting. It stops me from doing a lot of things. And typically I try to move past it, but I've learned that many of my issues that I have with publishing, like my personal issues, all goes back to rejection sensitivity. I think that my issues that I have with YouTube go back to rejection sensitivity as well. And essentially what that is it is scenarios that have not even happened yet that literally just kind of hinder you from moving forward with doing something. Like, for example, one day I would like to do a stream where it's a charity stream, right? And all of the proceeds get donated to the American Heart Association. Like, that's what I would like to do. And I would like to have different authors come on, and then all of the super chats and the money that these videos make would get donated to this organization. I've been thinking about that for so long. Thought about my dad for a second, and I would love to do that. And I would love to get sponsors and get authors who are at a very high level to come and chat with people and to share insights, and it just be kind of like an open conference type deal. But all the proceeds, all the benefits, all the donations, everything gets donated to a nonprofit organization. And of course I would like host it on my YouTube channel and stream it wherever else I could possibly stream it. But I don't do things like that because in my mind, my brain tells me that if I started that, no one would show up. I'm the person who would have parties, which I have told the story like so many times on my live streams, that I would have parties and I would be scared that nobody would show up. And like, that's never happened. Like, I've had a house full of people pre-COVID, but it's things like that. Like, there was a point when I wanted to do an anthology project and all of the money went towards Mothers Against Drunk Driving because Will's cousin was killed in a drunk driver accident. She was 18 years old, and it was a very tragic thing that happened for the family. And so I was like, man, that would be so cool if, you know, I could put together a project and donate the funds like in memory of her. But what hindered me from doing that was my own fears that nobody would want to do it. The cover thing that I do on my channel, like that I need to go back and start doing again. It's been a weird 2 weeks with this release and trying to get everything uploaded on time. But it's different things like that, and it stops me a lot. It stops me so much. But I have been recognizing when I am self-sabotaging. It's not that I can't do these things. It's not that people will not want to do those things with me. It's my brain telling me that nobody's gonna want to do it. And then I completely believe it. And then I just completely drop the idea because why waste my time if I'm gonna be doing it by myself? Maybe this makes zero sense to anybody. I was talking about how on Facebook that I will see people that I'm pretty sure I was friends with in my recommended friends list. And I'm like, did they delete me? Or did I delete them? Did I say something to offend them where they deleted me? Like, should I friend them back because it's in my recommended? But what if they deleted me for something that I said and they don't really like me? And like, I get worked up in this whole scenario that's just probably not true. And before I was medicated, in my mind, that was truth. Now I am starting to recognize those faults that I have. It really just started with me trying to take better care of myself and to take care of my mental health and to try to be a better human, which is something that I want to be for like ever. I mean, it's a great New Year's resolution, but I just want to overall be a better human being for the people who are in my life and the people who may come into my life. I don't know what the point of that was either. Wow, this video is just gonna be, I don't know. It's gonna be a rambly Courtney video. But 45 books. 45 books. I feel like I'm lying when I say that. And I have written every single one of those books. I mean, some of them by myself, most of them with Brooke. I've written more books with her than without her at this point. And same for her too. Like, we've written more together than we have alone. It's just so crazy to think about. Like, I look at book covers, and if you see me, I'm looking at my bookshelf over here, but I look at book covers and I just think like, wow, I remember the late nights. I remember the hard work that took. I remember being in editing hell for that book. I remember a scene in that book that made me cry. I remember this was going on in my life when I was writing this book. And it's just a lot of different memories. You asked me at any point when I was doing theater, like, hey, Courtney, What were you doing in December of 2005? I could tell you. I could tell you how much I weighed. I could tell you what my GPA was. I could tell you all these different points in my life. And that has been replaced with different points in my life based on my publishing schedule, which is like 6 to 8 books per year. So I've been in so many different places in my life over the course of these 45 books. And when I just sit down and think about it and just really just reflect on that, it's crazy how much my life has changed from the beginning of like starting to write and, you know, making all the mistakes and getting my first check from Amazon was just like the coolest thing in the entire world. And then having record months and selling thousands upon thousands of books in a day. Like, those things have happened. And making USA Today, I know that that doesn't make you successful. And let me just say that right now. Having a title does not mean that you're making more money than someone who doesn't. It just doesn't. That's not reality. It's a cool thing to have. It's like a college degree. You know, you spent all that time getting that certificate, and now that you have it, no one can ever take it away from you. It's like that, but it doesn't predict your success for the future or really for your next book. I can promise you that. It's a cool thing, but don't let that determine your worth and determine your success, because that is a bunch of letters. It's a college degree. It's a piece of paper. Yes, you sold a bunch of books at one point in time, but it doesn't really mean that you're going to sell that amount of books in the future. But with that being said, it was a huge accomplishment and it was a really cool thing. Something that I wished would happen, but didn't really expect it to so quickly with Kennedy Fox. Having your books translated into different languages, it's a cool thing to hold those paperbacks in your hand and be like, wow, this is so cool that this is in bookstores in a different country. There's been a lot. There's been some really cool things that have happened in my life and some really horrible things that have happened in my life. And I've tried to keep up with YouTube, and I know that I'm not the absolute best or take it as seriously as some people, or maybe as seriously as I should, but YouTube is a hobby, and I've stated that several times before. And will it eventually be something that I focus on? Will I eventually have memberships? Maybe. I can't commit to anything else right now. My goal is just to keep writing until I physically can't write anymore. And I hope that I am a 95-year-old woman who is using her iPhone 58 using dictation to write some really spicy scenes in my 90s. And that's what I hope. I hope that I get to live a long time and I get to do this for a really long time. And I know that that starts with taking care of myself. And that goes for all of you out there too. You know, during live streams, I'm like, drink water, stand up and stretch. Like, it's not healthy to sit at our laptops for 40 hours in a week just sitting. Like, we have to stand up sometimes. We have to stretch. We've got to drink water. We have to be healthy. We have to take care of ourselves so we can do this for the long haul. And I want to do this for the long haul. I honestly cannot imagine myself doing anything else. I cannot imagine myself walking into a corporate office and sitting in a cubicle, again, crunching numbers for $1 billion company. That sounds like an actual nightmare, one that I lived for a decade of my life, and I don't ever want to go back there. So at the end of the day, I'm going to do things that I don't like to do. I'm going to do things that make me uncomfortable. I'm going to post on TikTok, although I don't like it and I'm really trying to love it, and maybe that's my problem. I'm going to keep editing, even if it takes me 15 hours a day to read, 4 chapters because I'm slow and I've got dyslexia and ADHD and a number of other problems. But that's okay, because we all have our own journey and they're all different, and we're all trying to do the same thing. We're trying to grow a brand. We're trying to write books that people love and enjoy. We're trying to make people happy or help people heal through something that they went through in their past. We want to have that human connection with people while being storytellers and being able to be creative. Like, that's the best part. Writing, creating, making characters, world building, like being able to tell a story that when you read it yourself and you close it and you go, yes, this is a good book. That's the feeling that I don't ever want to forget. And after 45 books, I've experienced it a good 45 times. There are books that I didn't publish, so it might be a little more than 45 times, but it just keeps getting better. I can't wait to see what the future holds. I cannot wait. Like, when I think back to like the beginning and just even a few years ago, like, this has just skyrocketed. It's something that I wanted. There was a lot of hard work put into. Just because you work really hard doesn't mean you will always find that level of success. And I've learned that the hard way several times over and over. I'm really great at failing, like really great at failing. And I'm really great at talking myself out of things. I'm not a huge risk taker. I think it's about knowing your why. I think it's knowing what you want out of publishing and just never forgetting that. And I think that's one of the most important things that I can take from all of this, because from the very beginning, I said, this is all I want to do. This is it. I just want to write and write good stories and be able to get paid for that. And that happened. And I get to live it every day, and it makes me so excited. Like, I'm pretty much still in shock. So yeah, we're coming up on 2 years of me quitting my job. Book number 45. By the end of 2022, I will have published 50 books. 50 is such a huge number. It's like a milestone, like 50 books. There are people who wish they could write that much. At times, I don't even believe it. And I lived it, and I did it. And it still blows me away. And I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy that y'all will just listen to me talk about God knows what and ramble about whatever without any sort of rhyme or reason other than to say, I released book number 45. It's book number 37 for Kennedy Fox, for any of you who are wondering. I did look up the number because I always forget, but it was book number 37 is Kennedy Fox. Our backlist is growing. We have 5 more books to release this year. The live streams are just not gonna stop. Y'all will see me a lot. We are already planning our series for next year. So there's a lot of really cool things in the works, and I am just so excited to be able to share that with you guys. Real quick, just a little catch up. I will have a Q&A Monday. I recorded it before we released, and I have not had time to edit it, so that will be coming. I am going to work on my next cover critique, so that will be coming soon. Also, I realized that I never chose my winner for my book bow giveaway. I went back to double check to make sure I got everyone, and I did not do that. So I will put the winner to that right here. And whoever won, congratulations. I will reach out to you somehow. Do not put your email address because they will block it. Put like the Instagram name, don't put @ or instagram.com. So then we can kind of like find each other, so I can get your email address to send you that gift card. I will also have another giveaway coming up. It is going to be for a book cover redesign, and you can use any designer that you want. I did a giveaway for a tea box, and the person who won that, who is Shannon, she said that she would prefer to give that back in some way. And I was like, well, what I can do is I can give like $50 to someone, because that's how much the value was for the tea box. I can donate that to someone to go toward a cover, because I think that would be very helpful, because covers are expensive. And she said, well, I would like to do that, and also I will send you $50 on top of the gift that she graciously gave back. So that's $100, and then I'm gonna add another $50 on top of that. So coming up very soon, I will have a video for a $150 credit, I guess you could call it, for any cover designer that you want, but it is for the use of a book cover, because I have found that a large majority of those who have sent me their covers really need help. And I know that it's really expensive, and I know not everybody has the skills like Deidre does, hey Deidre, to just go and watch some videos and pull out some photo manipulation in a weekend. That's incredible. I don't even know if I could do that. I think that that'll be really cool. But anyway, that's coming up pretty soon. I just wanted to kind of like let y'all know. I'm gonna end this video. Thanks so much for listening to Chatty Courtney, hour or half hour almost. And that's all I have. I hope you have an amazing, incredible week. You accomplish all your goals and you write all the words, and I'll see you again in my next video.